What's up, guys? Welcome back to Raising the Rogers Homestead. I was going back through some of my videos earlier and I realized that I haven't really done a whole lot on the sheep. So I'm going to take this opportunity because we are right in the middle of lambing season. So I want to tell you a few things about our sheep. All right, so we have 10 full-grown sheep. We have 8 females and 2 males. And then as of right now, we have 3 little ones. We have one that had twins, and then we had another one that had a single. And sheep are really easy. They're really easy. Now they take a little bit more time and attention than cattle, but they're super easy. A couple of the reasons why we got sheep was, one, because of that right there. They're easy animals to care for. Now they require I would say a little bit better quality hay than a cow could get by on. So we make sure to keep plenty of hay in there with them. Now we are raising some of these out for meat, so they are great for raising for meat. You can also use them for dairy. If you want to milk a sheep, have at it. Well, here on our homestead, we have a milk cow. We actually have 2 of them. But I would have to be in a bad situation to milk a sheep. You're just not going to get a lot out of them. Now, that's not saying that it couldn't be sustainable for you and your family. If you only have a couple of people in your family, then that's something you could definitely do. Us here, there is 6 of us, so we have to have a little bit more milk than obviously somebody who only had a couple of people in their family. Now these guys, so we've had these guys for a little over a year. These are first time lambers, and like I said, we did have one that had twins, and that is not out of the ordinary for these guys to have more than one sheep, or more than one lamb, excuse me. So it's not out of the ordinary for them to have more than one. And they have done a fantastic job raising them. Now, we did keep them in a separate lambing pen inside of the shelter. They've done a really good job with them. Sometimes, if you don't keep them separated, sometimes they will abandon the baby, and then that's how you end up with bottle babies. Now, every one of the full-grown sheep, we did bottle feed. We bottle fed every one of them. And generally speaking, they are 10 times more friendly if you bottle feed them. They are not scared of you in any shape, form, or fashion. Now, the little ones now that are actually nursing, I don't expect them to be as, I guess, social with us because they're actually being raised by their mom. But with all the other sheep, they're not scared of us. So hopefully they will get the same. Hopefully they'll pick up on, we're not going to hurt them. One of the other reasons that we went with the Katahdin sheep is because they are known for their parasite resistance. So, like I said, we've had these guys a little over a year, and we have not wormed them not one single time. Now, we do keep an eye on it to make sure that they don't develop anything, but we have not wormed them at all. We keep a close eye on their poop, keep a close eye on how they're acting and things like that. These guys get handled daily, sometimes multiple times a day. So we keep an eye on that, but they are a parasite resistant breed. Another reason that we really like the Katahdins is because they rarely require hoof trimming. I know there's a lot of breeds out there that require a lot of hoof trimming. These guys do get a little bit of grain. They don't get a lot. From what I've seen and what I've read is that grain is generally the culprit whenever it comes to hoof trimming. But we've had no issues with these guys so far. Like I said, they're only a little over a year old, so time will tell on that. They are a ruminant animal, just like a cow, so they can survive, purely on grass and hay. Katahdin sheep are a hair sheep breed. They are not a wool sheep, so they do not need to be sheared. That was important to us because, shearing sheep and all of that jazz or whatever. You know, it's for some folks. That's not what I wanted. I wanted as low maintenance as possible, so not having to have hooves trimmed very often, and also being parasite resistant and not having to be sheared. That was a win-win-win for us. That was a no-brainer. Now, this isn't specific to the Katahdin sheep, but it is something worth mentioning. So sheep are generally they are a 6. Hi Belle, how are you? Belle come to say hey. So you can run sheep at a density of 6 to 8 sheep per 1 cow. So this 1 cow, I could replace her with 6 to 8 sheep. You've got 6 to 8 sheep that you can run in the same area that you can run 1 cow. So if you've got, 1 acre, you can run 6 sheep. Okay, she wants me to pet her. A good girl. You can run 6 to 8 sheep, on an acre that you had set aside for a cow. 2 acres, 12 sheep versus 2 cows. So you can see where they can be profitable if that's your goal, because you can just run so many more of them than you can cows. You can actually have about a 200% ROI on sheep, and simply because their gestation period. So their gestation period is usually about 150 days, so 5 months, where a cow is 9 to 9.5 months. So if you've got 1 sheep and she has a lamb in 5 months, and then most of the time they're going to throw doubles, sometimes triples, sometimes quads, which are also not unheard of. But so 1 cow on 1 acre, or you can run 6 sheep on 1 acre, and well, you could really run more if you wanted to, but 6 sheep on 1 acre, each of them has a lamb. Your ROI on that is going to be much better on your sheep than it will the cow, simply because cows are expensive, and they're a lot more expensive to keep up. They eat a lot more, they require more feed and things of that nature, where the sheep can get by 6 sheep, 1 bale of hay for 6 sheep. That's going to be the same for 1 bale of hay for 1 cow. Cows are expensive to get into, and they require a little bit more infrastructure, where sheep doesn't require that much infrastructure, and they're a lot cheaper to get into. That's the reason why your ROI. Now, I'm not saying you're going to make more money on sheep, but the amount of money that you put into them versus the money you can get out of them, you get it back much faster out of sheep than you do cattle. If you buy a bottle baby sheep, so you can get a bottle baby sheep, and we're not talking registered or anything like that. You can get a bottle baby sheep, $100, $150, something like that. And then that sheep turns around and it has 2. Well, then you've doubled your money right off the bat, if you're in the business of selling them. If you want to raise them for meat, they grow out relatively quickly, 8 months or so. You can have one up to butcher size. Another thing versus cattle is going to be, so you have certain times of year that you want your cows to calve. So spring calves, fall calves. A lot of times people try to stay away from the harsh winter, and they try to stay away from the heat of the summer as far as having calves. So that means that you're going to have to keep your bull separated from your herd if you're running a bull on your herd. With sheep only, they only cycle once a year. Now, if they cycle and they're missed, they will cycle again in 17 days, but generally that's in the fall. So October, November time frame, September even, sheep will start going into a cycle, and then 17 days later, if it is missed, it will come back in. So there's no need in separating the ram. I leave the ram with these guys full time. I've got 2 rams in there right now, but I keep him in there full time because there's no sense in separating him, having to have extra infrastructure and more fencing and blah 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 blah. So it's easy to just keep him in there. He knows what's going on. He knows whenever they're coming into a cycle, he can take care of business, and I don't have to keep them separate. I don't have to worry about it. Now, our ram was bottle raised, so he is relatively gentle. He will get excited from time to time and try to run into you and stuff, but he's just trying to play. He's not trying to hurt anybody. So he's not going to mess with the babies. He's not going to hurt the babies. He's not going to hurt the other sheep. So I don't worry about separating him at all. Now, there are other hair sheep breeds out there, and I may or may not mix some of those into our flock in the coming years. I would like to see some Dorper. So Dorper has the same qualities as a Katahdin. They're just a little bit more built for meat. These guys are great for meat and meat carcasses and things like that. It's a very, very lean meat. It's a very healthy meat. So the Dorper sheep, that's also an option. And then you've got the St. Croix. St. Croix is another one that is a very parasite resistant sheep, and it'd be a great addition as well. Now, one of the things that I tell a lot of people about sheep. So I was actually talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he was talking about, man, I would love to get some goats. He likes goats. I'm not a fan of goats. They challenge fences too much, and they're, a little bit more rambunctious. Sheep are chill. They're so chill. They don't challenge fences or anything like that. So I enjoy the sheep over the goats. But anyway, I was talking to him the other day, and he was like, man, I'd love to get some goats, but I'm on a rented property. Not that he couldn't have goats because it's a rented property, but he's like, I'm on a rented property. I hate to put in all that money into fencing and everything else, and then just, it basically be a waste as far as the money put in for the fencing. The cost to get into sheep is relatively low whenever it comes to an actual livestock animal. Now, we're not talking chickens or rabbits or anything like that. Sheep are probably one of the cheapest things you can get into as far as livestock is concerned. Now, if you've seen any of my other shelters, like that one and that one and that one, this is the same exact thing. It's 8x16. I got a lambing pen in the back of it, so, and I've just got a windbreak on the back of it right now because it's been a little bit cooler weather. You could get into sheep if you wanted to. You could find, 2, 3, 4 sheep or whatever. I wouldn't get just one because they are herd animals, but I would get 2, 3, 4 sheep. And then you can go out and buy one of these nets, these electric nets. I'll leave a link in the description for that net. But you can get one of those nets for, $150 and electrify it. You can get a regular charger, you can get a solar charger or whatever for a couple $100, and then get you 4 or 5 sheep, build you a cheap shelter like that. I mean, for less than $500, you could be in business with some sheep if you really wanted to. And then in the event that you're on a place that maybe you're not going to stay, or you're renting, or whatever the situation may be, you can pick that dude up. You can load your shelter on a trailer, pick up all your fencing, load your sheep up, and go on wherever you're going to go. I encourage anybody that wants to get into livestock that maybe a cow's a little intimidating, or maybe you don't have enough room for a cow. Say you only got half an acre and you want to have something. You can always get a couple of sheep. You can milk a sheep. You can eat a sheep. You can, sheep are great. They're low impact. These guys have been on this area right here for about 3 days, and you can't even see a hoof print, and it's been pouring down rain. I'm so sick of the rain, the wet, the nasty. The cows, however, they've been in this area right here. I'm trying to keep them off that back pasture and the pasture that's down in the front. I'm trying to keep them off of that and let things grow a little bit. But they've been on this little area right here for, I don't know, I guess it's been a couple of weeks or whatever, and there are some areas that are nasty. They just get into everything, and or you could get into some pigs if you really want something tore up. I've had these pigs in here for, golly, it's not even been a week, and they have really worked this up. Now this is going to be our garden area, so they're in there for a reason, but low impact. Sheep are so low impact, they won't even leave a hoof print. They are super easy to deal with, and they're cute. I mean, they're just as cute gets. I'll show you these little ones. If you want to get into some livestock that's going to produce you some quality meat, or a livestock that is going to produce you some milk, or a livestock that is going to produce you something that you can sell, i.e. the babies, and make a little bit of side money, and be a little bit more, a step closer to some sustainability on your property, I highly recommend sheep. Highly recommend them.